remember coming up to the gate where all the security people were, and being asked, could we help you? And I said, yes, I'm Judge Rick Martinez, and I'm here for a job interview. So he looks on his computer and he says, yes, Judge Martinez, come in this way. And he goes, if you look to the right, see that door down there past that long driveway? He goes, yes, that's the west wing to the White House. And as I'm walking down that long, roadway to the west wing of the White House, all these thoughts are going through my mind. I'm thinking about being a little kid, in Linden, Washington, picking strawberries and raspberries and green beans and stuff like that. I'm thinking of my parents with no education, and now their son is walking to the west wing of the White House to be interviewed for the position of United States District Court Judge for some interesting things that have happened in my life. The fact that I had the opportunity to go to college, to go to a wonderful college like the University of Washington, the fact that I had the opportunity to go to law school, and all those nerves of walking to the west wing of the White House to be interviewed for a job just kind of evaporated at that point in time.
The Odegaard Award is the university's highest award for diversity. The award was created in 1973 in honor of President Odegaard, who made diversity an institutional value by establishing the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity. We're incredibly proud to honor Judge Martinez for his commitment to equity, and the work and mentorship that he's done in the field of judicial affairs is paving the way for many others.
My family was one of the very first Latino families to settle in Whatcom County. I was turning 5 years old at that point in time, and so I was getting ready to go to school. For the first 8 years of my education from first grade through 8th grade, I was the only kid of color in the entire school. The year before I showed up at UW, there were, it's my understanding, there were less than 30 Latinos in the entire University of Washington. Going to the University of Washington was a huge step for me. My world expanded so much more, but it was a very turbulent time. It was Vietnam War protests, civil rights marches. There was so much happening in terms of activism that was going on that you could not help but be involved in that. One of the most memorable things that stands out in my mind is May 5th, 1970. Now, that may not mean a whole lot to people nowadays, but that was the day after Kent State. Kent State was when the National Guard of Ohio opened fire on the students who were protesting the war in Vietnam and Cambodia. That was such an eye-opening thing for us because we were doing the very same thing in Seattle at the University of Washington. Larry Gossett and several other leaders on campus organized a march from the hub down to the federal courthouse on 6th and Madison. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever been a part of. It was the very first time that students actually shut down a major freeway. I was in the middle somewhere. My best estimate is there were at least 10,000 of us. Why did we go to the courthouse? Because we were asking those old judges in there to do something about this injustice that was going on in the world to come all around full circle. When I became a federal judge, a magistrate judge, in 1998, I was moving my boxes of stuff in, I put the box down, I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking to the spot where I was standing. I was an 18-year-old, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I become one of those old bastards inside that needs to do something about this, all this injustice that's going on. Sometimes the job of being a judge makes you a little cynical, and I watched the March for Our Lives of the students. Of Generation Z, it took me back to being 18 years old and being on the campus of the UW with everything that was happening. And I have to tell you, I have never felt so inspired in my life as watching those kids and listening to them. This is the future. They are the future. They are doing exactly what we were doing 50 years ago.
Well, personally, Judge Martinez is an inspiration. In my view, he epitomizes the American dream. When you look at where he came from, starting in Mercedes, Texas, and you look at his family's migration all the way from Texas to the great state of Washington, and you consider the fact that he started in public schools as a Mexican boy who did not speak English, it's almost impossible to believe that anyone, anywhere in the United States could have achieved the heights that he has right now as the Chief Judge of the U.S. District Court here in Washington.
That's what I love about him, the commitment to his family, 3 beautiful daughters, a beautiful wife. That's always been first and foremost. His dedication to his community, never forgetting where he came from.
I have three heroes, my parents, and then Chief Judge Martinez. I actually remember when he first became a King County judge. I went to his investiture. I think I was about 10 or 11, and it's something that's always stuck with me. You know, for me to see someone who looked like me, that was important to see positive role models in the community. And it made me think about, you know, if he can do this, I can do this as well. So Judge Martinez has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of different people, and I am one of those people who has stepped through those doors.
And it doesn't matter the mighty or meek, rich or poor, whatever gender, ethnicity, he treats you with such honor, and he makes people feel like they're really being heard. And this is an amazing attribute of a judge.
Since 1905, we've only had 30 federal district court judges in this community, and he's the first Latino to become a federal district judge for a lifetime. That was a major step, and it was a major step for the selection committee. It was a major step for the senators to support him and for him to be appointed by the President of the United States. That was a role model of historical proportions, and he always gives the same message that forget your pedigree, where you came from, not from a cultural standpoint, he's strong about that, but forget the poverty, the lack of opportunity, the fact that you may be a first, the fact that you have a chance to make a difference in so many people's lives. And every single day that he's on that bench, he's showing courage and making a difference in people's lives.
The only thing I want to say is, first of all, I'm a proud graduate of the University of Washington. I bleed purple and gold, and to get an award like this that so many other people have received, it validates what I've always tried to do, which is be of service to my community, be of service to marginalized communities, and try to advance diversity at every level that I possibly can. So it's a tremendous honor for me.